Hello all, how are we this afternoon? Welcome to Chatman FPL Game Week 2 live. They're already buzzing at me. Oh no, that's just James going live on YouTube. How are we, guys? Let me know, please, how audio, sound, picture is in the chat. For those who might have seen my Ask James stream yesterday, and I'm hoping that the picture is a lot better for you guys than it was on Wednesday. Essentially, I got new broadband inserted yesterday, so the Wi-Fi interference and problems that we had on Wednesday night should not be a thing that reoccurs again. Thanks you, Paul Mehan, for getting in the chat. Right, so we'll have a quick recap on what's obviously happened already today. Then we're going to have a look at the team news for the 3 o'clocks. And then obviously we'll get into the games and we'll get into the chat as well. First off, as is religious on these Chatman FPL live streams, toast to our 3 heroes, FPL tactician, simple goal, James Alapran. Thank you very much, guys. Much love. We are all loving this. Thank you. So, West Ham won at Everton. Didn't see that coming really after the game week 1 results. Sounds like it was quite a poor game. Looks like the guys picked the right game to commentate on to give themselves a quiet lunchtime. So West Ham had obviously lost at home to Villa game week 1, and Everton had a come from behind victory at St James's to win by 3-1. And we've had a switcheroo today. So Di Canio back in the side. Looks like he missed a host of chances, which I have to say, Rob picked the scout who was given the information that Di Canio would definitely start, so he could share it with you. Did not know that Di Canio was going to have a nightmare in front of goal. The only goal was scored by Freddie Canute. He's in my team. Let's get in there. And a West Ham clean sheet. How many of us have got Xhaka Hislop? You know what that means, though. I'm well advised to how the shenanigans of FPL work, and I know that I've had a very good start to this game week 2. It looks like I'm on 14 points from the first 2, and it's going to go to pot because that's how it always happens. You have a good start in FPL game week and it just goes vroom. And when you have a really bad start, you tend to have stuff in the evening game and the Sunday games that would normally pull you through. So not counting any chickens yet, but obviously as someone who's got Hislop and Canute, quite happy with how that worked this morning. I made the 1 transfer. I went from Omri to Van Nistelrooy. Van Nistelrooy is my captain, as I'm sure he will be for so many of you. I just felt that the effective ownership was going to be ridiculous, far higher than I'd anticipated pre-game week 1 deadline. And I regret not just, although I got a few extra points out of Omri, I regret now not starting with Ruud Van Nistelrooy. So Van Nistelrooy, my captain, I'm sure he will be for most of you. Just to recap on that information from the Everton West Ham game in case you missed it. So a bizarre top bonus for Steve Watson. The official account explained there. Looks like Watson and David Unsworth won a lot of key tackles for an Everton side under the cosh throughout. So West Ham thoroughly deserving winners. Look like Joe Cole had quite a few efforts as well as Di Canio. So it's 3 points for Watson, 2 for Paul Gerrard in goal for Everton, 2 for David Unsworth, and 2 for the only goal scorer, Freddie Canute. So Gerrard in goal for Everton, in spite of conceding there, has ended up with, what's he on, a 4 there? A 4 and another 2 for save points. So actually a 6. A 6 for Gerrard in goal for Everton, despite conceding. That's how I worked it out. 2 for appearance, 2 for the save points, and another 2 in bonus points as well. So that's actually the same return as a clean sheet for Xhaka Hislop. I noticed looking back at the numbers from game week 1, by the way, something perhaps to look out for in the 5:30 game later. No goalkeeper made more saves than Brad Friedel, which was in Fulham's Blackburn's 3-2 win against Fulham. Brad Friedel made 9 saves in that fixture. So, as I said, I'd keep something to maybe keep an eye out, possibly on Fulham at 3 o'clock today. In terms of perhaps some reflection, perhaps they were a touch unlucky to lose that game 3-2 last week. And obviously Blackburn go to Old Trafford in the later game. Just a note on a couple of selection things from that Everton-West Ham game in reflection. So Everton made 3 changes. Out came Xavier Gemmell and Max Moore. And in came David Weir as part of the back 3. Paul Gascoigne came into the midfield, and Kevin Campbell played up front. Those were the 3 changes for Everton. The other notable slight difference in setup, it was very much a flat back 5 for that fixture at St James's. More ownership on the wing backs, Naismith and Steve Watson, who scored in that opening game week 1 fixture at Newcastle to get forward. Less attacking running from midfield, and an onus on the 2 wide players to pull in, 2 front players to pull into wide positions. Seems a little bit bizarre, being that those 2 forwards are Ferguson and Campbell, who obviously in later parts of their career here, and Ferguson was never the most mobile anyway. Although a better footballer than he was given credit, seems a little bit of a strange one to me. So not too surprising that perhaps on reflection of that West Ham did win. Now West Ham also made 3 changes. They made changes in the fullback areas. Sommer and Newton both came out. Nigel Winterburn and Schemmel both played more as defensive fullbacks, with more an onus on the 2 wingers further up the pitch, Courtois and Sinclair, to get forward. And obviously, Di Canio came in for Titi Camara. Very importantly, there was an earlier game as well at St James's Park, which was Newcastle's second leg of their Intertoto Cup match. They won that second leg 3-0. To go through against their Czech opposition 6-4 on aggregate. That means Newcastle will now be in the UEFA Cup. There is a knock-on on that. A lot of you on the Twitter community may well have noticed from last night that Ben Crellin, there's now at Ben Crellin 2. He's opened a dedicated account to look at planning for Champman FPL, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm not just now a poor man's Ben Crellin, but I'm also a poor man's Jeff Stelling. So I got told by someone this morning. What's important about that is obviously where one of the things that can cause blanks to happen really randomly is a UEFA Cup side plays on the Thursday, and then they're meant to play a Champions League side the forthcoming weekend, who would then play on the Tuesday. In that case, and the setup of Europe is very different to what we now know. In terms of the current format, there was obviously 2 group stages, but far more midweeks with Champions League fixtures. So I think there's a total of 8 Champions League fixtures pre-Christmas under this format, whereas now we'd only normally have 6. And some weeks you've got Champions League and UEFA Cup, some weeks you've got just Champions League, some weeks just UEFA Cup. I did have a quick glance through. I don't think, and someone can correct me on this, game week 10 is a week where we could have a couple of blanks come up quite randomly. I forget the fixtures, but I think maybe Chelsea are due to play someone and Ipswich are due to play someone that I think could cause blanks. But we should be okay to around about game week 10, I think. We have our first alert. 5 minutes till kickoffs around the grounds. Southampton fans are in great voices. They welcome their team out for their first ever game at St Mary's Stadium. In a weird quirk to this game in real life, Southampton's first ever game at St Mary's was against Chelsea. They lost 2-0. The first ever real life goal scorer at St Mary's was Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. He is amongst the Chelsea starters today. Now, for those in the chat, I just want to try something really quickly. Can everybody who's kind of signed in be ready to type something into the live chat, but please don't. For those who are captain on Ruud van Nistelrooy or Varane or any other Manchester United asset, please lean back from the keyboard. If you are captaining someone who is playing in the 3 o'clock kickoffs today, one of those 6 fixtures, can you please type into the chat now who that player is? I'm fascinated to know if we've got many differential captains in those 3 o'clocks. I'm going to hold back for a second and just see if we've got anything coming in the chat. I suspect there won't be a lot. I'm anticipating a couple of Vidukas maybe. FPL Irons with Viduka. Anyone else got something other than Van Nistelrooy or Varane? Or Dwight York, for example. I think I might have seen one floating about on Twitter. It was on David Beckham, actually. That it. Just FPL Irons with Viduka. Wow. So, okay, I'm going to take from that nearly all of us, captain-wise, are not now. We're all in the 5:30 game between United and Blackburn. I should have updates on the team news on that. Andrew Martin's in the chats. He's got Viduka captain in his zombie team, which is always allowed to have. Nick Griffith in saying Hasselbank, but I don't really know what I'm doing. Guys, feel free to get back in the chat. I just wanted to try that to see if there were many differential captains knocking about. Brian Yule says, someone on Twitter had Bartlett, genius or madness. Ask me in about an hour and a half, Brian. I should be able to confirm for you. Brad Lewington says, hi, James. Can we take a quick moment of thought for me, please? Took a gamble on Duncan Ferguson this morning for a fucking -4. Quote, fucking, yeah, bad times, man. It felt like a lot of the people I was chatting at, there wasn't much talk of hits. Because there's so, I mean, I've seen quite a few people book Stephen McPhail, and we'll see shortly that he's not in the Leeds team. I've seen people, my good friend FPL Chancellor Dan was in the chat yesterday. He was when I did the stream, he was talking about selling Craig Burley. And my advice was don't. There will be rotation and changes. Obviously, Craig Burley is back in that Derby team. I think you need a little cluster of information of what we're getting at the moment. Marky Rose, what year are you doing? 0102. Auto Reclusive Viduka is a nice captain differential. He is, but it looks like there's not too many, judged on what I'm hearing and seeing here, guys. So what we'll have to do then, while we wait for these 3 o'clock kickoffs to start, we'll have a run through these 3 o'clock teams, see what learnings we can find through these. So we will start with the game at Villa Park. Aston Villa host Derby County. There are a total of 4 changes for Villa. Go Delaney, Alpay. I've seen a lot of people going for Alpay pre-game week 1 as an alternative to Melbog. Mustafa Hadji is out. The reward for Dion Dublin's goal in game week 1 at Upton Park is to be dropped. So 4 changes for Villa, slight system change as well. Steve Staunton obviously stays in the side, but moves into a centre-back place. It's a back 3 rather than a back 5. More on the wing-backs to get forward, which that's why Staunton's been brought inside. Wing-backs coming into the team are Alan Wright and Steve Stone. Paul Merson is back from injury and back in the team. Juan Pablo Angel is obviously back from international duty, also in that Aston Villa team. There is a place on the bench for David Ginola, but does not make the starting lineup. 4 changes also for Derby. O'Neill and Baitis go out in spite of the clean sheet against Tottenham. So too does Adam Murray. Georgie Conclazi obviously injured until I think the start of September, so that one was enforced. Coming in for Derby are Chris Rigger and Carbonari centrally into that back 3 at the back, and he's got an onus to step into midfield. Craig Burley does play, as I'd already mentioned, and Strupar comes in up front for Derby. Wing-backs and the rest of the midfield remain unchanged. They'll be obviously looking for back-to-back victories. Confirmation from the official Champman account that we are underway. Just to clarify something before I move on to Bolton and Leeds, by the way, I have no association with the Champman account, so any opinions that I share or thoughts on the game or anything, they're just mine. I'm not speaking on behalf of the guys. I think they're all heroes and brilliant. I'm not part of their team. It's those 3 should. I'm not the Champman official stream. This is Planet FPL. I'm just doing it for me and shits and giggles. So if you don't like anything I say, it's not their fault, right? So moving on to Bolton and Leeds. Now, obviously, Bolton didn't play in game week 1, so I'll run through their full 11. Big news is Kevin Nolan, who had 30% ownership going into game week 1, in spite of no fixture, does start. So Bolton line up with it's basically a 3-4-1-2 with attacking wing backs. Jaskalainen in goal. Back 3 of Anthony Barnes, Colin Hendry, Paul Warhurst. Wing backs are Ricardo Gardner, who's been spoken about quite a lot, 5.5 million. And right wing back is Neil Maddison. The central midfield 2 are Nicky Saville and Kevin Nolan. Henrik Pedersen behind, interestingly, because it's priced quite high at 7.5 and might kind of prick people's notice heading towards a double game week in game week 4. He plays behind the front 2 of Michael Ricketts and Dean Holdsworth. Per Franson amongst the substitutes for Bolton. Leeds United, 2 changes. One I already mentioned, and they play at the Reebok this afternoon. Stephen McPhail not in that team in spite of a game with 1 assist. And I think those who were making budget moves at sort of around about 5 million ahead of this game week, a lot have gone Stephen McPhail. If I'd have been making a move in at that value, I'd have gone Stephen McPhail as well. So back to square one. I suspect these guys were priced in at this price, who have in simulations have returned really well, like McPhail has. They're that cheap because this is going to happen. That's how it feels. And we should remember, in real time of this game, it is midweek. It's actually, these are midweek fixtures in between 2 weekends. So rotation, again, was to be expected. I know FF Scout Luke, who put a brilliant little thread out about Blackburn systems yesterday, he was saying earlier today as well that game week 2 is normally an absolute bitch for rotation. It doesn't look as bad as I'd suspected, I have to say. So coming into the sides for Leeds is Olivier Dacour in central midfield in place of McPhail. Really interestingly, Baka played on the right game week 1 and Bowyer centrally. They've switched. So Bowyer on the right, Robbie Keane again in support of Mark Viduka. Harry Kewell plays again, as obviously does Ian Hart. Jonathan Woodgate retained his place at centre-back. But the replacement at right-back for Gary Kelly is not Danny Mills. It is Alan Maybury. Put that spanner in your works. I don't understand how that works. Michael Drewby, Matteo, Alan Smith, David Batty substitutes. McPhail not even on the bench. Speedy Reedy TV has a great shout there about our friend Luke. He's in the chat as well. Disable. Can you do that on Blackburn for the other 19 teams? I'm going to give that a thumbs up for Luke as well. So moving on, where should we go next? We were at Villa Derby, didn't we? So Fulham, unchanged, same 11 that lost 3-2 at Blackburn. There are no changes, nothing changing system to that team at all, which headline-wise, again, means no place in that team for Louis Saha. So it's Boa Morte out of position up front again, 8.5 million in midfield. Steve Marley up front. Fulham completely unchanged. That's probably as big a shock as any. They take on Sunderland this afternoon at the Cottage, and only just the one change for Sunderland as well, which sees Darren Williams come in for John Oster. Interestingly, another positional change. Formation 4-4-2, exactly the same as they were for their fixture in game week 1. But a switch on the left-hand side. Julio Arca now left midfield. Mickey Gray at left back. They started that game week 1 fixture the other way round. Something to keep an eye on there. Not too sure on the reasoning of that, obviously. Ipswich played Charlton. We have an early red card at the Reebok. It's for Eric Bakker of Leeds United. Eric Bakker, what are you thinking? This is like Gus Poyet revisited. The Norwegian prospect is lucky to get away with a yellow for squaring up to Kevin Nolan, but he is enraged and has talked himself into an instant second yellow card. Leeds face 85 minutes with 10 men at the Reebok. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? I think from those 3 o'clocks, I would have probably looked at Leeds as probably the lock for the result there. Let's wait and see what happens. But that's interesting. So we've started the first 2 game weeks with early red cards. Really, really interesting. Just to come back onto Ipswich, as I was saying, 4 changes for them. Again, slight positional changes, a little bit more onus on the wing backs to push up here. But they've made 4 changes. Bramble, who you might remember from game week 1, was at fault for one of the goals. I think it may have been Jeffers' goal. He's left out. So is Chris Macon, left back position. Finidi George is left out. And so too is Sixto Peralta. Incoming is, in place of Peralta, is Pablo up front. Jamie Clapham drops from left midfield to left wing back, retains his place in the side, as does Tarico, plays on the other side, just playing a little bit further up on the right-hand side. John McGreal comes in at centre-half in place of Bramble, and 2 additional players centre midfield alongside Matt Holland in Jermaine Wright and Tommy Miller. They host Charlton Athletic, and I'll run through their full side because obviously they didn't play in game week 1 either. To my knowledge, no major shocks in terms of the 11 that's been picked. Some of the positionals are a little bit interesting. So Dean Kiley in goal. A lot of people may well be on him, I've noticed. Back four is Chris Powell, not Paul Konchesky. Richard Rufus, Danny Shitu, Luke Young at right back was one that I'd potentially mentioned, as Kishishev is injured for a sustained period in that position. Mark Kinsella, who's been popular for quite a few people, starts on the right of a four-man midfield. John Robinson on the left. The midfield two is Graham Stewart and a very young Scott Parker. And up front, Sean Bartlett, who somebody mentioned, obviously there was one differential captain knocking about on him, and Jason Yule up front. Moving on to the Riverside, motherfuckers. 4 changes for Middlesbrough as well, and some real interest here. So Gianluca Festa, who played out of position at left back at Chelsea in game week 1, is dropped. The midfield pairing of Dean Windass and Paul Ince also not in the side. And neither is Hamilton Rickard, who only picked up a 5 out of 10 in game week 1 as well. I so nearly went with Rickard at the start, so a little bit of relief on that for me. Coming into the side are Curtis Fleming at left back. Rest of the back four remains unchanged. Dean Gordon is in the side, wide left midfield. He's one of 3. It's Arca and I think Delaney at Leicester, all defensive players playing wide in midfield today. Marinelli comes in to centre of midfield with license to get involved with the front two. Nemeth comes in for Rickard. Interestingly, Jonathan Greening moves from the right of midfield to a central midfield position with Marinelli. And Alan Johnston moves from the left to the right. The opponents at Riverside are Leicester City. 2 changes for them. Out goes Jordan Stewart and Arne Gunnlaugsson. Into the side come Callum Davidson and Joby McAnuff, brought in midweek for 975,000 from Wimbledon. I think he's got a price of 5 million. Goes straight into that side on the right of midfield. Muzzy Izzet given license to push forward from midfield today and support James Scowcroft, who's moved into a number 10 position behind Dean Sturridge. And the final game to look at is Southampton and Chelsea. I'll be honest, I didn't have time to make full notes on these, so I'll just run through the Southampton lineup. It's Jones, Delap, Benali, Dodd, Lundic fam, Oakley, Tessam, Draper, Howard, Pahars and Beattie again up front. The Chelsea side I know a little bit more about. Key news would be no place for William Gallas in that team. We have a chance at the Riverside. Middlesbrough dominating the early proceedings here. Dean Gordon has created a couple of excellent chances from corners. The first for Ugo Egiog is well saved by Tim Flowers from the resulting corner. Marinelli sees his shot blocked. So an interesting start there for Middlesbrough at the Riverside. Just to go back to that Chelsea team. So it's back 3. Really interesting. Terry, right side of Marcel Desailly. Albert Ferrer as the left-sided centre-back. Babayaro is into the side as left wing-back. Mario Melchot moves from centre-half to right wing-back. So it means no place in the side for Stanic and Gronkiar, who took up those positions last week. I said I'd look strongly at both of them, particularly Stanic, but I just thought this sort of thing was really liable to happen. Petit and Lampard and Zola keep their places in the midfield. Zola supporting the front two of Hasselbank, and Idager Johnson returns to that team ahead of Mikel Forsell. Forsell, Gallas, Slavica Jokanovic and Zenden, the substitutes. So Stanic and Gronkiar not even on the substitutes bench for Chelsea. That is team lineups. So we got through that a little bit quicker. Less games, obviously, as well than we did in the weekend. So we'll now keep an eye on things, get into the chat. Let's get some questions coming in, guys, and I'll try and pick these up as and when we're coming. But work away to yourselves. Let's have some fun. Let's be nice to each other. Remember, it's a game. Keep an eye on the Fantasy Champ Man account. Obviously, also to plug for them as well. They're going to be doing, I think it's a weekly stream, Sunday nights at 9:30 p.m. When I tell you, if you really want to try and win this game, that it will be must viewing on YouTube. It will be must viewing because Andy and Dave will be the only 2 people, along with James Lappin, obviously, but I think it's just the 2 of them are going to do the stream. They will be the only guys who've got access to the in-game. So the data in terms of if people are unhappy, if they're being wanted by other clubs, etc., etc. For example, Corrado Grabby, 5 million Blackburn forward. Wow, I don't know if he's going to be in the team later, by the way, that plays at Old Trafford. But he's unhappy, he's homesick. These are the sort of things you're only probably going to get awareness of if you watch the stream from those guys, because we don't have the access to it. So it really is must watch. Andy and Dave did a great stream that was really informative last Sunday. I think 9:30 p.m. UK time is what they want to go with. Absolutely must watch. Don't have to watch it live, but I think it would be beneficial because you can see the chat as it's ongoing. Obviously, you can catch up on it Monday, Tuesday, whatever. Just a note as well, following game week 3 is scheduled to be international weekend in the physical games. So there's quite a long break. So between game week 3 and game week 4, certainly no rush to do anything. Well done to everybody as well. I took the advice not to rush the sheets. I told you it would probably take a while. I think it took longer than the guys had anticipated, but real life can get in the way sometimes. And we have to remember that they are free humans doing it out of love and a bit of passion. There's no money in it for any of them. They're just doing it to give us guys a bit of entertainment. So please be supportive of them. If I see anybody giving jip, I'm going to be on your case. Right, let's get in the chat, guys. Have a beer, vape, all that shit. No goals as yet. All right, let's see what's happening in the chat. Also, Recluse with some interesting Southampton information, which, as I said, I didn't really have time to look at it properly. But Dan Petrescu scored at Anfield and Wayne Bridge dropped. Alan Mahatdi says, Rickard benching shows you should be concerned with players underperform 5 rating. It stood out to me straight away, that 5 rating that you got at Chelsea as well. FPL Chancellor, totally here for the Burley brace now. So, mate, told you. FPL Blade, James thinking Duff, Viduka, Rickard to Solano, Shearer, Heskey for game week 4 faults. I mean, if I was to tell you my faults, then you'd probably be copying my team, wouldn't you? Newcastle do have a very good set of fixtures between game week 4 and game week 10. That's absolutely right. I think they play Chelsea in game week 3 from memory. But I think Shearer coming back playing for Newcastle, was it a goal and assist in their UEFA Cup win? It looks like when Shearer's fit, he does really well in the Sims. So I think it's very attractively priced at 10 million. I probably want to try and work out a way that I'm probably looking at Shearer from Jason Yule after game week 4. That's probably my thinking. We have some news from official account. We have a goal. It's at the Riverside, motherfuckers. Goal scorer is Johnston. Assist for Jonathan Greening. Middlesbrough lead Leicester City by a goal to 0. 15 minutes gone. Leicester Shitty. Leicester City, clean sheet bust. And then Johnston, the goal scorer, Jonathan Greening with the assist. That's your first 3 o'clock goal for game week 2. Dominic Radford seems saying another goal field first 15 minutes. Skylar says Burnley on my bench, also expecting a hat trick. I just caught wind of what Luke from Scout was saying there, just going up in the chat, was saying that in one of the sims he did, Nigel Martin lost his place to Paul Robinson after he got a 5 rating. So really should be aware of those 5 ratings. On the goal from Johnston at the Riverside, lovely play from Jonathan Greening, who attacks the space and walks his past Dennis Wires before lofting the ball across to Alan Johnston, who volleys home. Interesting. Right. Flapjack says, I'd love a Brewdog right now. Well, go and get one, mate. Just put a mask on and shit and go and get one. Sean Murphy obviously adding about Roberto Solano as well. He's at a price point I really want, 6 million. I'm beginning to think I might just hang around with Van Nistelrooy, having now made that move, which then may allow me sort of Malbronk to Solano. Fulham don't play in game week 3. Remember that. Fulham, Liverpool do not play in game week 3. Cal, shitty, clitty Leicester. Yeah, we've got a new one there, mate. Jeff Holt looking like this was a period when Letitia is probably going to be a sub. It's the end of his career, mate. Mark Dorney, 10 players only for game week 10. I should have clarified my team, really, shouldn't I? I didn't actually go through that. So I went with a 4-3-3. So Shaka Hislop in goal. William Gallas, who's obviously on the bench for Chelsea, so he could come on. I've got Melberg playing for Villa, Ian Hart playing for Leeds, Laurent Blanc later. Malbranc, Kjell and Veron. Up front, Van Nistelrooy, Canute, Jason Newell, obviously Van Nistelrooy captain. If Gallas doesn't come on, my first sub is Kevin Nolan, who is playing for Bolton. The other sub I had Keith Gillespie, who I have a sneaky might actually be involved for Blackburn later, although I know Luke from his excellent analysis on Blackburn didn't have him listed in the team that he thought would play for them. Clive Fisher, we'd all be calling Leicester Clitty forever now, won't we? But also Recluse, Brewdog is a central supplier. I really like these. It's become kind of my podcast beer now, guys. FPL Chancellor says Greening was an interesting player. Always thought he should have done better than he did. I think that goes for a lot. Dan, who played for that United team, who sort of went elsewhere. Didn't he go to Antwerp with Ronnie Woolwork? And didn't Ronnie Woolwork go to jail or something? If I remember rightly, I might be completely wrong with that. That's me getting sued anytime now. I just something from memory. I don't know if it's true or not. Don't take it seriously. Greening, yeah. Middlesbrough, West Brom. Tidy-ish player. Then so was like Luke Chadwick, who's involved in the Manchester United squad in this sim as well. You kind of thought he'd be one that when he left United would do really well, but didn't really have him. Daryl's asking me, how much CM0102 have you played over the years? I can't remember, Daryl. I'm pretty sure I did play that particular game. I certainly would have played a lot of Champman around about that time. Whether I played that game or an older version, I really can't remember or tell you. I don't have the old games, to be honest. I imagine I probably did. If not, it was a very close version and I would have played it a lot. But the Football Manager, which I've occasionally been loading up recently, the most recent one I've got is 2017, is a very different bastion of a game to the beautiful simplicity of this 0102 version. They're essentially really different games, basically. Romange 12 is letting to get blocked. What a guy. Speedy Reedy TV, Lord Staunton, keep up. Mark Dorney, Curtis as well in the United rejects. Yeah, he's at Blackburn on this sim now, isn't he? Clean sheet wipeout says Jeff would be proud of the Clitty slip. I really didn't do it on purpose. Paul Mehan, wish we could get Brewdog over here. I'm enjoying an Imperial Stout at 10 in the morning, quarantine life. Paul, if you need to get in my DMs and talk about some of the issues you may have there with drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm down with it. I'm here for you, mate. But time doesn't matter at the moment, does it? It really doesn't. Particularly actually these weekend days. A lot of people obviously be working from home and whatnot. These weekends, what does time matter? The times only matter today for me to make sure I was ready for this and that. Otherwise, it just doesn't really exist. Cole Norbury adding in on the chat that Greening was good for West Brom for a while. Rob McTarget, are we expecting heavy rotation from Manchester United? It's a good question. I don't think so. I think there's a slight concern for Veron. Genuinely, I think there's a slight concern. The fact that Roy Keane was picked at Leicester with only 90% fits, quite telling. And obviously, Paul Scholes replaced Veron, who underwhelmed a little bit in that fixture. I don't think we'd have too many concerns about Van Nistelrooy. But again, remember, these are midweek fixtures technically. So, could be. I just think the way this has worked for the big players, if you will, three games in a week, then the international break. I think on this occasion, the majority of the big name players will be playing. Bill Hadaway is coming in. Ronnie Woolworth jailed for 15 months after breaking up stolen car parts at Scrapyard. See, I knew there was something in the back of my mind that told me that Ronnie Woolworth had been arrested. Is he on this sim, guys? Does anybody know? Ronnie Woolworth, is he on this sim? If so, where is he? What is he doing? Is he still at Manchester United on this sim? Possible, I guess. Where did he go from United? Alan Motadi says Leicester a team to target. Not sure about that. Alan obviously lost at home to Manchester United in game week 1, but just the 1-0, although we know Van Nistelrooy had a shitload of chances. And yes, obviously they're behind at Middlesbrough. But I've seen quite a few people saying from their simulations that Middlesbrough were a side that performed very well the side who quite often were knocking around sort of between 5th and 8th. So Middlesbrough are one of the better sides in this. So we shouldn't be too surprised that Middlesbrough started ahead. Cal says, cheers for doing this. Always long-time listener to Posman. It's great that you and Suj aren't letting the situation get the better of you. Look, what's the point in that? We have no idea how long this is going to go on for. And if we're still sitting here all stuck indoors in 3 months, I'm telling you, me and Suj will still be recording. We ain't going to disappear. We feel there's a duty to keep doing it. So yeah, we'll keep doing it. We just will. It's all we know, and it's good for us as well. I mean, Suj is in the office every day on his own, I should add. He's in there every day speaking to banks, finance, etc. He's got businesses that he needs to look after. So it's a really difficult time for him at the moment. Oh, we have an alert. With a substitution at St Mary's. Ida Johnson has gone off. Budovine Zenden on. Wow, is the comment from the official Champman FPL account. The Tinkerman strikes again as forward Johnson is removed for Zenden. Zola going up front. Question. I actually did that the right way for you guys, I think. Maybe. Should it be? Should I just do it that way? It's just that way, isn't it? So, yeah. Wow. Johnson removed after 23 minutes. No sign of an injury or anything. Astonishing. And that's off the back of he removed Gallus after 39 minutes in game week 1 as well. So this is one of the reasons I didn't really want to get too involved with Chelsea at the start with like Stanish and Zola himself and stuff like that. Was just shit. Formation, tactical moves. I mean, what is that? Making a tactical substitution after 23 minutes. What is that? It's not like they're 2-0 down and it's gone to, it's 0-0. I mean, it's big, isn't it? Well, yeah, just to finish what I was saying about myself and Suj. Yeah, like we'll keep doing things. The one for me is like, if you're coming in the chat and perhaps you haven't listened to us, now's a good time to maybe give us a go. We will do a Champman FPL feature on our main Monday night podcast, which we'll obviously record on Monday. People's Poll Tuesday this week again. The vote for that will go on Twitter tomorrow. It's going to be some sort of best 11s again, like it was last week. Wednesday, we got the brilliant Tom Campbell coming on, and he's going to do our quiz. I don't know what it's on. It will be football, obviously. We'll find out if I'm as clever as I sound like I am when I read the questions. And on our throwback on Thursday, we're going to have a look at England's qualifying campaign for USA 94. Graham Taylor and Do I Not Like That, and the defeats in Norway and Holland, and have a reflection on that. Was it as bad as it all seemed like it was 25 odd years ago? Friday, I'll stream like I normally do. Wednesday night, I will probably do this again for game week 3. My intention at the moment is to do it. I'm not going to make any promises for a stream that's going to take 2.5 odd hours, basically. But my intention is to do this again on Wednesday night if you guys want me to. And then we're off and running. Then it's next Saturday, and I'll probably do it again. It's good for me as well. I'm not going to lie, guys. I've been looking forward to this because I really, really enjoyed myself the other night. So, yeah, it's good for me as well. I'm not going to lie. Callum Stokes says, stuck to my guns and held off with Rudes. Didn't want to hokey cokey with Henry, Captain Veron. It's all right, Callum. He says he's had some very scared. That was my fault as well. Van Nistelrooy's effective ownership is going to be off the scale. I just felt for me with quite a decent game week 1 start, I scored 65, that I felt it was imperative just to stay. And if I could pick up the right differentials, like I might have with like Canute and Hislop earlier, then that will be enough to just keep me going with. I'm conscious that Veron could score better and I've taken the captaincy off him. It's also made me think, hang on a minute, have I got a 12 million asset here that I'm never going to captain? And if so, what do I want to do with that? So, but all the numbers tell us that Veron will be an incredible asset. Let's see how it goes this evening. Luke from Scout as, yes, Manchester United reserves, I presume, and terrible. He's like 22. That will be in, in reference to Ronnie Woolwork. Bill Hadaway says Woolwork went to West Brom via loans. At Carlisle, Stockport, Royal Antwerp. And from these Brewdogs, it might give me a bit of indigestion, I must say. Callum States is happy with the 8-pointer from Big Freddie Canute earlier. Yeah, absolutely. Even look at that a different way and go, you obviously got actually 4 points in game week 1. So you want to keep bashing me at that value, 6 points over every 2 game weeks, then Yeah, he'll hang around for me for a while, quite possibly. Carl Norbury, Chadwick signed for my team Stoke in 2003. Kyle, I believe, is also on the FPL Surgeries Championship feature in the week as well, if I've got that correct. So very good luck with that, Carl. He started brilliantly and scored a hat-trick in one game, but did his ACL in the same game and never fully recovered. Amazing how many people do suffer their careers through injuries. A few others saying about Woolwork still in Manchester United's reserves on the simulation. Rob Pick, our CM scout, is in the chat. This afternoon, Bud. Greening came to Barnsley towards the end of his career. Everybody played for Barnsley, mate. Did you ever get out? Towards the end of his career was horrendous. Ended up with the nickname Handbrake, but it was a bloody 41. Final Richie saying similar to the official account as perhaps Zola up front. We have a yellow card at the Reebok. Controversial moment here, says the official account. Ricardo Gardner raises his hands and pushes Lee Bowyer, the former Charlton man, usually such a wallflower, is incensed and wants Gardner to see red, but the ref decides yellow is enough. Gardner lucky. So, interestingly, it sounds a little bit similar to the incident that had Eric Bakker sent off earlier in the game. That's Ricardo Gardner apparently lucky. I know he's knocking about in a few teams. That is not a CMFPL account update. Is someone sending me a photo? The brilliant Stephen White. I'll give him a little plug. Part of Beer Nuts UK, who I think Andy Martin, FPL Tacticians, had some nuts and some beer sent to him in the post to them from those guys. Give Stephen Beer Nuts UK a follow. I met Stephen. Ron Weasley, you might have seen, had his head shaved the other day. I'm taking large credit for that because Steph wanted 15 retweets and I might have been the first to give it a retweet. He had about 25 within about half hour from that. So poor Ron Weasley. Some of you listen to the pod might know Ron Weasley's question of the day. Yeah, his head's even shorter than mine at the moment, which I do it through choice. Ron did it for, I think they've put a little bit of charity or something, in fairness. Good for them anyway. Joe Jenkins says, I love how random subs are in this game. Dominic says, wish subs were like this in real life. Imagine the carnage. Imagine that sub at 23 minutes. Oh, Mark Dorney, dilly dong. Clean sheet wipeout. Hope it means Zola up front. Also says, hoping this week's guest quiz will be a little easier. I got 2 this week. The quiz that we did this week, if you want to go back and have a listen, was on the FA Cup between 2010 2019. It is hard. Like if you don't know your FA Cup well, you probably will find it quite frustrating. But if you follow English football quite well, then look, get on it. You'll enjoy it. We do have an app, by the way, that I realise there might be some people in the stream who perhaps never listen to the podcast. We have an app on Android and iPhone where you can get all our shit as well if you don't want to go onto SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, or whatever. Let's move forward in this chat. For those joining in, we're 30 minutes in and we've only had the 1 goal, which is a goal for Alan Johnson of Middlesbrough against Leicester. Eric Bakker has been sent off for Leeds at Bolton. That's from the 6 fixtures, just the 1 goal so far. I thought this game was meant to be full of it's going to be goals everywhere. Manchester Red says, that alert noise you have is the same as my newsagents when I walk through the door. I'm not sure that it is, but I know what you're saying. I haven't added the alert. I'm going to be honest, because of how active I am on Twitter, my phone sits on mute all the time. So I've got notifications on for these guys. I've never changed the message alert or anything. I might look for something a bit funkier for game week 3. But yeah, it is what it is. It'll be whatever the standard alert is. Callum Stokes says, James, with the quiz, is there any chance you could split it up into rounds rather than just going through all the questions? Do 5 Qs and then the answers, as most won't be writing down answers. Maybe. I could look at doing it that way. It's possible. I'll give it some thought. I prefer my way personally. Irons, wow, qualifying campaign 1994. Your pods are unique. Love it. You know me, mate. We'll come up with different shit. There's a goal at Portman Road, and he's in James's side. It's Jason Yuill. The assist is from Sean Bartlett. A goal for Charlton at Ipswich. Goal scorer Jason Yuill. Assist Sean Bartlett. 32 minutes gone. Get in there. Nice. So that's my 2 mid-price forwards have returned. I can't complain at that. It's essentially putting me at a positive game week. Almost in respect to WAMs now, because so many will have that Van Nistelrooy captaincy and that. So yeah, I can't argue that. That's a decent little start. I'm more pleased with that actually that I've gone with Van Nistelrooy, because if I'm not, then that could still absolutely break me. So happy that my other guys are returning allows me to sort of keep going with others, I think. FPL Dinosaur, any idea why some bigger FPL accounts had a slide digger as playing champ, man? I'm going to be honest, I don't really want to get in this now. If you want to DM me, you can. I'm not aware of any big accounts digging out. There is a goal at the Riverside, motherfuckers, and it is an equaliser for Leicester City. Middlesbrough clean sheet, wipeout. Goal is from Damien Delaney, out of position, wide left midfield. The assist from Dennis Wise. Is it Damien Delaney? I don't know. Delaney scored anyway. Dennis Wise with the assist. 1-1 at the Riverside, 32 minutes gone there. Update on that Jason Yuill goal. Sean Bartlett whips in a lovely free kick from a dangerous area. Yuill beats Matteo Sereni to the ball and heads it in off the post. Charlton season is up and running. Cool. To go back to your point, Dinosaur. I'll just do the update on this Leicester goal. Wise lines up a free kick out wide. He swings it in beautifully, and Delaney makes no mistake with his header. Some people are not having fun at the moment, and I don't think they want other people to have any enjoyment in their lives. I just think it's some sort of defence thing. Some people think it's silly, right? I've seen some accounts, and not smaller accounts. I've seen a couple of people saying that what are you doing playing over a fantasy game with no like prize money in it or anything? And I'm going, sorry, mate, are you one of the 7 other million players who play a fantasy game all year long with no prize in it at the end other than a fucking goodie bag? I mean, come on, man. So if you want to talk to me about that privately, I'll be honest, I'm not seeing any big accounts say anything. I'm certainly not going to slander anybody publicly who's not in here to defend themselves. I'll do it behind their back. We have an instant equaliser for Ipswich. Clean sheet bust for Charlton. Goal scorer Pablo. The assist goes to Thomas Gardso. So that's only taken 2 minutes for Ipswich to get back on level terms. Goal scorer is Pablo. Assist from Gardso. So 1-1 at Portman Road between Ipswich and Charlton. Pablo cancelling out Jason Yuill's opener. By the way, guys, I take it the Wi-Fi is holding out fine. And I hope the picture's a lot better, etc. as well. All very inclusive. If one does nothing today, he's gone for me. I wouldn't necessarily feel like that, but I think for me, I can't see me ever being in a position where I captain Veron over Van Nistelrooy at the moment. So I would start to have to question what I'm doing with a 12 million asset that I was never going to captain. So I need to think about it. Cal says he's going to bang tonight. Paul Coleman, yes, the goals are coming, mate. Dan McCarthy asking, getting Henry back next week. I might. I need to think about it. Another one for James. Steed Malbronk is at it again. Goal at the Cottage for Fulham against Sunderland. Steed Malbronk with his second goal of the season. The assist is for OP, Lewis Boamorte. Steed Malbronk with the opener for Fulham at Craven Cottage. Assist goes to Boamorte. Whoa, I'm having a flyer here, mate. Nice. So Malbronk there for Fulham, who leads Sunderland 1-0. 34 minutes gone in that one. Yes, I might just go Okie Pokey fucking hell, I only had half a beer. Van Nistelrooy to Henry. I may well reverse that. I do want Henry in more than Van Nistelrooy for that stretch, but it's just a case of I've got other fires. Having said that, we've sort of like Canute, Yuill, Malbronk's returning. But looking at that right now, I don't feel the need to desperately do it as such. So something to think about once we're all done and dusted. An update on that. Ipswich equaliser. Godso collects a clearance and plays it long to Pablo. He doesn't even take the time to control it and lashes a volley home. Great strike. Alex Tyke. Hey, James, did you see yesterday was the 10th anniversary of the Soccer Saturday? Chris Kamara missed the red card moment at Portsmouth. Oh, I mean, you're not wrong, Comedy Gold. It's so funny. If you've never seen that, you must have all seen that, the Chris Kamara incident at Portsmouth when he's there analysing the game. It's unbelievable, Jeff. And he doesn't notice that Portsmouth have had a player sent off. It's remarkable. That's your job. You're paid to watch 90 minutes of football and there's a red card and you don't even know. It's the funniest thing ever. The thing is, if it wasn't him, you'd believe it was a stitch up and a setup. But I can believe 100% that it's true. Rory Cartwright's kind of ignored this, nailed this on those who've got an issue with anyone playing this game at the moment. Just ignore them. There's no point rising to it. So different people like different things, but yeah, absolutely just ignore. We would have invited so many to be part of this game. It's up to them if they want to be a part of it or don't be a part of it. Let's just be thankful to our three heroes, Andy, Dave and James, for what they have done so we can enjoy this, because otherwise this ain't happening. You're not playing. We're all sitting here Saturday afternoon. It's bored. We should have been at the moment in the middle of 3 p.m. kickoffs of game week 32, but fortunately most of you in the chat won't be thinking about that right now, and that's the biggest positive of all. Carl Norby saying thanks for the shout. James, everyone tuning into Surgery's Pod Championship special on Wednesday. Yeah, absolutely. I'll have more than happy to give the Iceman and Bully a plug as well. I mentioned this on my Ask James stream yesterday because our Fulham correspondent Dara at the Tinkerman's going on as well, doing a bit of a championship special. Update on that Malbronk goal. John Collins plays in Marley down the right. Plays a beautiful pass to Bowen Morte, who lays it off to Malbronk, who finishes for his second goal in 2 games. Nice flurry of goals across the games there. Yeah, much, much better to have the goals coming in, I must say. Vinyl Richie, for fuck's sake, just lost 3-0 to Spurs in my own save with Chelsea. Ah, shit, must you be. Davis, Sheringham and Rebroff scored. Interesting that, Vinyl, because all 3 of those scored in the 5-1 semi-final second leg of that same season in the League Cup. Other goal scorers were Stefan Everson and Tim Sherwood. Those were the 3 scorers in the second half of that game in 2002, actually. Just run through some of these comments. Rob Mead thinks there'll be more Reds to come in the Leeds game. FPO Irons, big at the back, looks to be the best tactic. There's never any bloody goals. I think that's going to be changing, mate. Ebring says big teams will get a lot of clean sheets. Looks like United, Liverpool, Arsenal particularly. And then under that, there's the other undercurrent of obviously Leeds. And then Chelsea. And then the rest is pretty much an open field where it could be caught sort of like Spurs, Newcastle, Middlesbrough, possibly even Blackburn. I've seen a few simulations people have done where Blackburn had finished around about 6. West Ham are normally terrible, but are capable, I would say. Villa, similar. Manchester Reds adding into the comments. Yeah, we're just enjoying ourselves. Exactly. Cal, at least it's realistic. Hardly anything happens in the first half to 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Lol. Harry Johnson, this is just like the real games at 3. No goals in the first half. I feel like I'm behind a little bit in the comments here. So as we're coming to half time, though, I want to give you most of your shout out and stuff, though, anyway. Also, Recluse, change it to crowd noise. The only reason, I know what you're saying about the noise for the text and that. The only reason I'm a bit reluctant to is obviously they're not all goals. And there's no way of me getting a difference from an alert from a Twitter account, whether it's a goal or it's not a goal. It's not like it's Sofa Score or something like that. FPL Woolly back. Game week 3, I'm drinking from 2:45 to 5. I would say, mate, probably 7:30 to 10 will be a bit better. We'll have a couple of these because I presume game week 3 will be Wednesday night. Clean sheet wipeout, very slow start to this Soccer Saturday. Hopefully the goals come flooding in the second half. Yep. Bill Hadaway reckons crowd noises are a ref whistle. I'll see if I can get some sort of crowd noises. Some of these clubs don't have no crowds though, man. Paul Mann, just make your phone alert someone saying Gary Messi. Yeah, we could do. All recluse and tipping James to win this. Yeah, come on. It'd be my great. I'd rather win this than real FPL. Fuck it. It'd just be better in the community. Mind you, you lot will probably all think I'm doing this, that I've got some inside or something. I most definitely haven't. Brad Lewington, James is 100% winning this competition. It's game week 2 of 38. I'm having a decent game week 2 at the moment. I think the one major that I took from game week 1 was the importance of starters. We got people like Hislop as a goalkeeper losing 1-0 at home. He's getting 4. Freddie Canute playing up front, getting 4. Hang on a minute, man. Isn't it worth taking the -4s? I feel like it is. I feel like it might be. Mark Dorney saying I might end up being top. It's a long way to go, man. Joe Finney thinks James has some inside knowledge that we don't know about. Definitely not, mate, because William Gallas wouldn't be in my fucking squad if I did, mate. Cal, doesn't matter anyway. If people are having fun, fair play. It's what it is, all it matters. FPL Chancellor, if you produce a Planet FPL Riverside motherfuckers mug, I'd buy one. Yes. I'd tell you what, I've got to give some credit here where it's due. I've stolen that from Planet FPL Wifey. Whenever we used to watch a game and it was at Middlesbrough Sound and someone said the Riverside, she would instantly, even if she wasn't watching the game, just go, motherfuckers. But yes, Riverside motherfuckers, Planet FPL mug. Somebody get on Twitter at Sujan Shah, say, I want a Planet FPL Riverside motherfuckers mug. And you probably need me with the motif to get it out properly. Cal, you can't fit FPL is cool and champion FPL is nerdy. It's just the same thing, isn't it? Maybe this is a bit more nerdy. I don't know, but who gives a shit? Bardia, what are you talking about? Don't know, mate. Brian Newell, Delaney was still playing last season for Waterford. That would be the Delaney at Leicester. Clean sheet wipeout. Yeah, a few sad ones there on Dean Kiley's clean sheet getting bust for Charlton. Auto Recluse, I think, it's got it right. Us players on Champman are hardcore players. I think it helped for me that I knew I'd met Andy before at one of our live shows. So I really wanted to back him on the idea as well. Once I can't even remember if I found out from Andy or someone else actually, but I was on the case as soon as I had the idea. I just thought it was unique and different, and I liked it. Thanks, Dominic Radford Sins for the update on the Wi-Fi. I appreciate that. I was convinced it would hold better, so really pleased with that. Sean Murphy, this has been the most fun since coronavirus shut everything down. Stream quality awesome. Yes, Sean. Thank you. Ian saying better as well. Rory Cartwright with a key point here on Veron. I think Veron will easily be the top CM FPL point scorer this season, and he adds easily. With a goal at Ipswich, there isn't an assister. The goal scorer is Tommy Miller of Ipswich. That is right on the 45-minute mark. So there's one for you, over 2.5 goals. Ipswich lead Charlton 2-1. They have turned that round inside 13 minutes from going behind to a Jason Ewell strike on 32. So it's Tommy Miller with the goal. 2-1 to Ipswich. I would expect the next notification to be half times. Obviously, while we're going through half times, throw stuff in the chat, guys, and I'll just keep catching up and running through. Dominic saying, Steve, block FPL, Mal Bronk, let's go. Carol saying, mad week for me already. It doesn't. I tell you what, I'd never get this luck in official FPL. Information on that Miller goal. Pablo wriggles into space in the box. Powell makes an excellent challenge, but the ball falls for Tommy Miller, who scores on his debut. Ipswich recover to lead before half time. Benny saying definitely some under the table dealings going on here. It's half time. Let's wait and see what happens later. But yeah, it's certainly looking strong for me from these 3 o'clock. So I don't like that whole fucking look at me shit. Darren Addy says I had Mel Bronk and I took him out. I think. Oh God, what do you mean you think? Sean Murphy looks like he's regretting not getting him. Auto Recluse says it's a fix. This is funny catching up on the chat a little bit later. Brian Yule going Sinclair over Malbronk due to Fulham blanking in game week 3 was dumb, it seems. It's not dumb. We're just going through our own choices. No dumbs. I mean, with this, who was to know what was going to happen? I've ended up with Malbronk because he was at a price point that I liked. It's going to, I could sell him for Solano, for example, now, or Steven Gerrard in game week 4, though admittedly, obviously, a blank in game week 3 as well. But I could move and say Solano, even though Newcastle got a difficult game week 3 fixture. It's going to be difficult now, though, isn't it? 2-2. Half times, just to confirm and run through for you. Villa 0, Derby 0, Bolton 0, Leeds 0. Leeds are down to 10 men. Very early red card for Eric Backer. Fulham 1, Sunderland 0. Ipswich 2, Charlton 1. Middlesbrough 1, Leicester 1. It's also goalless on the opening game at St Mary's. Southampton 0. Chelsea 0. Oh, excuse me. Andrew Martin's got Steed in his zombie team. Manchester Reds was going to get Malbronk, but got Hadji and he's benched. I'm sure the guys on their stream last Sunday highlighted that Hadji was looking like a bad choice. I can't recommend enough. Go and watch the guys' streams at 9:30 tomorrow night. Really important. FPL Dinosaur, no, just wondering, is all James not learning to cause heat? Just thought it was silly from some accounts when we all just get in an FPL picks from all this pandemic stuff. Yeah, of course. I know you're not trying to cause any, neither am I. Like, I'm sure there's people talking behind our backs like, look at them silly assholes or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're having fun, who gives a shit, right? It's like you go out with a girl and your mates think they're ugly, but they don't know what she can do indoors, right? She's keeping you happy. So, same stuff. That was weird. Sean Murphy took him out for Dunn. I presume that's going to be Malbronk, maybe. Bill Hadaway got Burley instead of Malbronk last minute. Typical. It's half time, game week 2. This isn't finished yet. Mickey Race. Come on, you Spurs. I heard of a double hit session. Cole. FPL Dinosaur. Oh, shit. I might as well go through all these comments as it is. Malbronk killing it so close to put him in initially. Well done to owners. Billy Hadaway. Kamara is hilarious. Max Waters. My shits are so bad. Christ. FPL Ricky. Lyndon's on fire. The rest of us are terrified. Lyndon's me, if you didn't know. Sean Murphy. What's FPL? Bang on, mate. Speedy Ready, Pablo forward 5.0 and assist and a goal in 90 minutes. Very much perhaps going to be this game week's breakout like Bernardo Grabby in game week 1. Benny Blanco, we are now the FPL community splinter group. A game within a game within a game. I quite agree, mate. Rob Reed, lots of goals flying in, but still no attacking returns for me. Shocking. Jeff Holt, very true. Concentration of this, I can name more players in CM team than FPL team. Ryan McLeod, love Bob Morte, who got the assist there for Fulham's goal. FPL Woody Black, solid start at 2:45 anyway. You can do, mate. But you might not see much of the stream. Rory Cartwright, keep the Twitter alert noise. Good for Pavlovian conditioning. Manchester Reds, brilliant. The lads putting this together, but a huge thanks to you too, mate. Brought a bit of the Saturday football feeling back. I think that was the main thing. I was like, what can I do to, and I must reiterate what I said earlier, I've got no affiliation with what the three guys do. So if I say anything and you don't agree with it, you can't take it to them. This is Planet FPL. This is not Champman FPL, although it's obviously about their game. But yeah, they're heroes. I just felt that I could, there was a few people asking about, to the guys, you're going to do a stream. You got to remember, just 3 guys who just made this game on their own backs. They're obviously going to do their YouTube stream 9:30s on a Sunday, which we obviously strongly support. I'll be dishing it out and retweeting it and stuff, and I'll be tuning in. If I can't tune in at the time, I'll certainly tune in and catch up on Monday. I felt, yeah, this was something that I could do. I liked the sound of my own voice, clearly. I felt I could talk to you lot for 2.5 hours. So, yeah, let's go. And it gives me an excuse to have a beer, which, as I said on Wednesday, I really genuinely had not had any form of alcohol for 3 weeks. And a little private vape in my room. And, yeah, it's all good. Block FPL, are you planning on keeping Gallus? At the moment, yes, because it's not an urgent one. I just feel like Chelsea are the biggest from rotation perspective of anything. I mean, if they clean sheet again here, and you can say, oh, I'm doing really well, etc. The one real change I made lastminute.com was Gallus for Melchior. So imagine I'd stayed with Melchior at 0.5 cheaper as well. That was the only change that I made from the original first draft I did, was to go Gallus instead of Melchior to give me that extra security. And as it stands now, it looks like Melchior's going to be on for 2 clean sheets and Gallus is going to miss both. It wouldn't be the biggest fire that I've got, is what I would say to that block. So not yet. I think that can quickly change back. Simulations that people have done seem to suggest that generally Desai and Gallus were pretty much the safest to go to from Chelsea. E. Brune says, who would everyone like to see transferred into the league? Feel free to post your comments in the chat to that. Dave Perrins, hey James, simple goal here. Oh, hello Dave, it's Mr. Perrins. Now I know. Hello mate. Just wanted to say a massive thanks for the stream. Makes it all so much better. Makes no Premier League matter even less. Thank you. No, thank you, Dave. I don't know why, but when I watched the stream for the first time, I found out that Simple Goal's name was Dave. It just worked. It just absolutely was exactly what I expected, was for him to be a Dave. He had a little smile about that to myself. But no, thank you, Dave, genuinely. Cal, I had a great chat with my dad about this game the other day too. It's nice to speak about the players we've forgotten about from this season. Yeah, exactly. It's cool, isn't it? Ryan McLeod's letting for anyone from Lazio 0102. Their squad is insane. Might be one to notice. If I guess the European draws could be between now and game week 3, and that might open up the possibility of a blank or two. As I said, I think particularly keep an eye on game week 10. Looks like there could possibly be an issue, but we won't know till we see not just the draw, but the fixtures for the European competitions. I'm pleased to hear, thank you, Dinosaur, this broadband's better. You don't know how frustrating it was for me. So I knew it was cutting out a little bit a few times the other night, but it was only when I tried to watch some of it back, I realised how bad it was, which I felt like made the response from you guys even more surreal, that you all seemed really happy and wanted me to do it again. Because I was like, the quality of this is so shit, James. And the thing is, where it was different to say, when I've been doing the Ask James on the Fridays, I'd been getting away with it because obviously my son would normally be taken to sleep. Everybody else from the local houses would be at work. My wife would be at work. So I was in the house by myself. So I was generally getting away with it. The problem was obviously with the shutdown, then I've got me trying to do podcasts and streams while my wife's working on another computer and everybody else is in their houses using data, etc. And it just had a knock-on effect. So I've had it for a little while, but I knew that I couldn't activate it till yesterday. So it was really, really frustrating. And I knew every time people were going, oh, your Wi-Fi's dodgy, etc. And it's just one I had to take on the chin. But I'm pleased it's better now, so much better. You don't know as well in terms of uploading audio. So obviously with no man-child about the moment, me and Suj have just been doing podcasts on Zoom. And he's been uploading the Zoom video to YouTube. No editing, no nothing, just however it comes out, bang, it's up. And I've been playing with the audio to do my best with it as well as I can to make it sound okay. Because essentially the audio is just being recorded via mobile phones at the moment. And I just cut them and put them in together and try and cut out any large noises. If you listen to Friday's one, you can hear my missus giggling with my son in the background quite a few times. And it was taking me so long to upload. So like copying the audio from my stream yesterday took me 3 minutes to upload and then post onto SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, etc. The same thing 2 weeks ago was taking me over an hour just waiting for an upload. There was nothing else I could do. So I was having to send files to Suj, which would still take about half hour, but was cutting the time out, and then he would be able to post up. So it's much better for everyone now that we've got that anyway. Clean sheet, a lot of people will be. Luke Barrett, Kinsella hit not working out for me at the moment. I would judge that, Luke, over the next 3 game weeks. Remember, they've got a double in game week 4, so that could well turn around for you. Danny's saying, James, England are 92 favourites for the Euros. That can't be right, can it? How many other teams would you have ahead of England? Probably about 5, Danny. France, obviously. Germany, Spain, possibly Italy. Holland, I would put ahead. Those off the top of my head would spring to mind. I think Croatia might kind of be coming to the end of their curve now. Portugal have got emerging players to they need to replace Cristiano Ronaldo, but they're emerging with some new talents, etc. So it'd be a threat again. I wouldn't be surprised if and when that tournament happens, because of the way the draw can work out, we end up with someone like, with respect, like a Wales getting to a semi-final again. Belgium, obviously, I would put above England as well, Danny. That's weight of money and liabilities, because England had a sensational qualifying campaign. And obviously the majority of the squad is so young, and players like Sancho, Rashford, etc., Grealish, if he's not drink driving, will all have an extra year to develop in terms of age, experience, etc. So England have a shot. And also you have to factor in, Danny, as well, that essentially it's, if we were to go all the way, it's like 70% home tournament, isn't it? We'd only play away in the last 16, which could be even in Dublin, which is near enough. It will near enough be like a home game if we play out there. Everyone will go. And a quarterfinal one in Rome, that's the path if we were to win our group. I think the other path involves Copenhagen and St. Petersburg if we were to finish second. If we finish third, there's a number of different routes we could end up taking. But yeah, that will affect it as well. The potential that, if you get to the last 4, we're at home. So that's why as well. So bookies ain't stupid, Danny. They're not going to take chances. Luke Barrett's calling for Ginola to get on. Billy Hadaway asked for Haruna someone or other. Wonder Kid special. I know who that is, mate. What's the time? Nearly second half. So I'm going to fly through some of these. FPL Dinosaurs looking for Bex to bang. Simon Dowling, go back and see what I said about Gallus a few minutes ago. FPL Blade needs Ginola and Rickard on. I'm sure you're not alone with days, mate. Simon Dowling, hey James, were you supposed to get a green screen, not a blue screen? I'll think about it. I could potentially look into getting something, and the longer this goes on, it's possibly something that I will consider. Yes. If anybody's seen the graphics that Suja's done, I've began to find out now why so many of the walls at work are painted green. Astonishing. FPL booster rolling transfer, wanted your win for the Canio. Luke Barrett with you, Benny, 2 defenders, not even the squad. There's only 11 eligible outfield players this week. We have an alert. I think that will probably just be for second halves. What do we want? Goals. When do we want them? Now. You know what to do, lads. Yeah, we need goals. FPL Penguin. Hi, James. Hope it was well. Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. Family's good as well. Hope everything's all right. Your side and with everybody, obviously. Max Waters, how do you see your rank after the game updates? At the moment, top 100, I should imagine. Harry Johnson, the managers that Captain Viduka rather than Van Nistelrooy must be drinking their beer a little bit faster right about now. Brendan Davis, Richie Wellens, Blackpool, 500,000. I think I remember buying him on an old Champ Man save, I'm sure. Andrew Martin, big reveal. Love that, mate. European group draws on the stream tomorrow night. Can you, Andy, get us the fixtures as well so we can line up and see in terms of dates if there's a potential problem like I might have mentioned around game weeks 10. 01 Jill is quite right. Just need a new mic now. Yeah, absolutely. I'll leave those guys to have the chat there themselves. You can have a look through Speedy Reedy and Andrew Martin. Nick Griffith, one player who's played over 3 decades for England. Who is it? I'm going to say Peter Shilton, I would have thought. FPL Cobbler, afternoon, James. Late to the party today, but doesn't look like I've missed a lot so far. Cheers for doing this. Pleasure, mate. Manchester Reds, bit off topic, but what's your thoughts about Jose at your gaff? Are you a fan? And also Kane coming out and saying what he did. I wish Jose would fuck off, and if he doesn't fuck off soon, Kane probably will fuck off. That's how I feel about it. I'm going to be really honest. I'm not missing Spurs at the moment. Genuinely, I'm not missing them. It was just giving me the hump anyway, so I'm just not missing it at the moment. We have a goal at the Reebok. Clean sheet bust for Leeds United. The goal scorer is Henrik Pedersen, 7.5 million. And the assist is for Ricardo Gardner. I think a few will have some returns there off that goal. Looks like I just got up to speed. Sorry if I missed anyone in the chat. Do keep throwing in with stuff and we'll keep talking about it. So Leeds behind at Bolton. 47 minutes gone. Goal scorer Henrik Pedersen. The assist for Ricardo Gardner. I remember Leeds down to 10 men. Clean sheet wipeout. Not the start we wanted. No, I guess it's similar like with Van Nistelrooy later. There's no point getting too happy Van Nistelrooy returns the captain because nearly everyone's going to have it, I think. Excuse me. It's the same with Ian Hart. More of a blow for those who might have doubled up with, say, Nigel Martin as well. Some information on the goal. Ricardo Gardner runs literally the length of the entire pitch before playing in Pedersen. He gets a pot shot away, but it beats Nigel Martin. Difficult for 10-man Leeds now. Simon Dowling saying he went Southgate over Gardner. These players, Gardner, Julio Arca, Mickey Gray, Delaney at Leicester, these players are quite interesting. Quite interesting because they're not going to keep. I mean, Bolton obviously could keep clean sheet here. But they're not going to keep many clean sheets. Is the attacking returns going to make up for it? Sunderland are actually not too bad on this. I mean, Bolton from simulations have been very hit and miss. FPL Bricky adding a great point here that perhaps Gardner shouldn't be on the pitch for that altercation that he had with Lee Bowyer in the first half. That's interesting. Another reason to think we've got... See, there's parallels with real life shit here as well. Instant equaliser for Leeds. It's from Olivier Dacour. There is no assister. Equaliser for Leeds. Olivier Dacour, who replaced Stephen McPhail in that lineup for Leeds today, has scored the equaliser. That's within 2 minutes. Equaliser for Leeds at Bolton. Olivier Dacour, the goal scorer. And we've all got him, haven't we? Paul Mehrens asking for VAR. Quite possibly. FPL Chancellor saying it sounds correct from the tweet. Yeah. So it sounds like Nigel Martin could have done better. Be interesting to see his rating. Yeah. I'm conscious for Paul Robinson at 4.5 as well. I am. Yes. I think there's something in this. And I think Luke earlier up in the chat, quite near the start, had highlighted this as well about potentially being very cautious about players with really bad ratings. Here's one that will be popular. Gianfranco Zola has scored for Chelsea at St Mary's, and the assist will be equally as popular. It is for Mario Melchior. So there you go. You think I'm winning it all? Nah. If I'd had Melchior as well, then maybe, yeah, but I don't. So goal for Zola, assist for Mario Melchior. Simon Dowling, Melchior assist now. Fuck. Auto Recluse, yes, Zola. Hassan, Zola. Simon Dowling, us Gallus owners, so unlucky. You tell me about it. Clean sheet, Zola. Joe Finley Batter, finally a goal. Speedy, Reedy TV. Sean Murphy at last, Zola. Rob McTaggart, Zola, get in. Darren Addy, boom, assist and goal in one move. I needed that. First return of the day for Mark Dorney as well there with Zola. I suspected that would be a popular one. On the Olivier Dacour equaliser, some interesting tidbits here. Ian Hart puts in a lovely cross and Robbie Keane connects beautifully. Jaskalainen saves well, but it falls to Dacour, who taps home with ease. So obviously in real FPL that would have been a Robbie Keane assist. The official account for this game, Champman FPL, Fancy Champman rather, been very clear saying they will not award assists for saved shots that are then put in from the rebound. So no assist for Robbie Keane. Looks like there's lots of love in for the chat for Gianfranco Zola. But Ryan McLeod 88 brings it back down to earth with where is JFH? Where is Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank? FPL Irons as Zola and Melchior. He's pretty happy about it. Alex Turner also has the pair. Brandel thinks they've spelt Hasselbank wrong. Information on that Zola goal. Milchut does really well and carries the ball a long way before crossing into the box. The smallest man on the pitch, Gianfranco Zola, goes for it with a flying header and finds the back of the net. Lovely. This shit ain't real, man. Zola, flying header. Nah, man. Benny Blanco, the Milchut thing is just to take us all off the set. I don't think it is because Milchut, what, clean sheet and assist, mate? Yeah, all right. I think I would have lost one of the other ones, wouldn't I? Let's be honest. Auto Recluse, Zola is the bargain of the game. He may well be. Brian Yule, Zola was the third most owned forward last week, so that goal hurts. It will hurt, as does Milchut as well. Disabled Luke from Scout saying, if you notice many headers from wing backs. Joseph Squire, do have the court banger on this game. We have a goal at the Riverside, motherfuckers. And it is for OOP. James Scowcroft, playing at 10 today, has put Leicester in front at Middlesbrough, and the assist will be popular, I think, for some. It is from Dean Sturridge. Budget basement 5.5 forward, was very popular ahead of game week 1 for those looking for a budget. Scowcroft is obviously an expensive midfielder in this game. Won't be too well owned, but there'll be a few on Sturridge with that assist. So it's a goal for Scowcroft, assist for Dean Sturridge. Leicester in front at Middlesbrough. Simon Downing says Gallister Milchut has disaster written all over it, but I may do it anyway. I'm not going to force that sort of move, I don't think. Billy Hadaway would have had a heart assist to the court in FPL because Yaskalainen powered it. I think Billy, it looked like it was Robbie Keane's shot, so I don't think that's quite the case. I think it was Robbie Keane, it would have went. Let's see what the account's saying here on this Leicester goal. Callum Davison crosses for Dean Sturridge. He nods on for Scowcroft, who heads home at the far post. Another one from a cross. Flicked on. It's interesting. Luke's got a great point now. Gary Shepherd. Anyone got any points I can borrow? Be amazed if I make double figures. You will, Gary. Don't worry, mate. It's all good. It's all good. We still have one game we haven't heard anything about. I think it's Villa Derby, isn't it? Which is still 0-0. I think there'll be quite a few out there on sort of Melberg, Staunton's, blow for obviously Alpine owners. Still potential on that Villa clean sheet. And obviously there'll be a number out there waiting for Craig Burley. Max Waters says, what are you drinking? I'm drinking a Brewdog. I don't know why I'm turning it so quick. Like you can see it. You probably can now. No, they are not sponsoring us. Yes, I would be happy if they did sponsor us. Auto Recluse, I'm unsure now if Hart is the TAA of the game. Well, I'd think about that differently, actually, mate. Yeah, quite a few straight in there. Rory Cartwright, he is. So, yeah, I mean, look, he missed a penalty last week. Nearly scored with a free kick. He's kind of had the assist of the assist in this Leeds equaliser at Bolton. He did get the clean sheet last week. I think we'll find that Ian Hart probably, in most cases, will be very worth it. Joe Finley, Badder, Schmeichel and Staunton here. Derby was scoring 5 minutes now. I've said it. Probably now I have. Mark Dorney as Villa keeper. Simon Dowling without Alpine. Yeah, Billy. Yeah, Robbie Keane. Yeah, you know, mate. It's all good. Max Waters, be positive, Joe, baby. It's in response to Joe's double Villa defensive. Andrew Martin, my dad's favourite beer, James. Should I feel good about that, Andrew, or should I feel bad about it? Do let us know. Strong beer. It's not really. I've had more dangerous stuff over the years, I can absolutely assure you, Ryan. Joe, will do, Max, baby. Rory Cartwright points out that we are indeed coming out up to the 60-minute mark. Mind you, it was a bit of a damn squib game week 1. I was expecting like 20 players to get hauled off after like 58 minutes. Ryan saying tried the grapefruit one last night. Did you now, mate? I presume he's referring to this. Alexander Dalziel, where is Mark Viduka? Ryan saying strong as in good. yeah, this is it's become my podcast beer. So when I went out on a little venture the other day, I saw some and I went, yeah, I'm having that for the Champ Man streams. FPL Woody back. How accurate is this game? Decent first week with everyone else, and then the second week slide down the rankings. It's like my FPL life. I did say in the first stream for game week 1 that game week 2 would be a lot more challenging because so many would be on United assets and difficult fixtures for others. With obviously Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool, Spurs all not playing, who at different levels. Obviously, Arsenal will challenge for the title, although may find it a little bit more difficult without Patrick Vieira. Liverpool will hope to do the same. Newcastle were capable, but obviously it had injuries, and game week 1 obviously had a disaster against Everton. Spurs are capable of a 6th, 7th finish. That's probably about the maximum. But that's 4 of the top half teams almost definitely missing, right? So suddenly you're struggling for a few players on that. Answer the Reebok. The momentum has shifted with that goal and Leeds are well on top now. Kuehl lines up an excellent strike from the edge of the box and the ball grazes the bar. That's another James asset there, mate. See, can't win them all, mate. Clean sheet wipeout. Love a Brewdog beer. Ain't it great? Ryan McClure resulted in me subbing Hadji. What, the Brewdog beer, mate? Rob McTarget, Elvis juice. The grapefruit one is cracking. Cole, Manchester Reds. I remember years ago I bought a bottle of alcohol which was just called French drink. It took my head off. Fuck knows what it was. Can you remember what it looked like? Was it even a drink? Clive Fisher says need a big last 30 minutes from Viduka and Kuehl. Brad Lundon, you staying on for the late kickoff chat? I'm not going to stay on for the 5:30, Brad. I don't think anybody wants me to stick around for just one game. I'm not going to sit here for 5 hours or so. I will certainly hang around. We should have the United team news in around about 16 minutes. We'll obviously go through that together. And I will hang around till we've got all the bonus points from the 3 o'clock games as well. But no, I'm not. When we've got just one game like Everton West Ham earlier and Manchester United Blackburn at 5:30. No, I'm not going to stream through those. When we've got a cluster of games like this, yeah, I'm gonna try and do this where I can, and certainly while we're in lockdown anyway. Might be different when I'm going back to work and then I'm coming home and what we're going to do then, etc. It might be different case scenario. I think for so many of us as well. Ain't being funny, but like the first Saturday that I can go and see my parents, if I'm going back to work and then able to see them, he ain't fucking streaming. I'm going to see my parents. So we'll see where we go week to week. But yeah, I'm very much enjoying this at the moment. Also recluse, James should def on influencer now. I really want a Brewdog. Some might say it's a bit early for beer, but I only have a couple. And basically, it's my Spurs replacement at the moment, this game. So I only really drink when Spurs play now. And actually quite often home games, I just go, now I've got a little one, I just go to the games and piss off and come back home quite a lot. Away games I normally have a beer. So it's my little replacement for a couple of hours for Spurs now. I tell you what, I've been drinking for a few Spurs away games recently, and I've needed to, watching that Mourinho crap. It's these gamma rays from Beavertown. Jesus Christ, they knock you fucking sideways. You have enough of them. Good juice though, that. I had a few of them in the Beehive in Tottenham. Miss being down a pub. I'd rather be in a pub on my own. I just want to get out. I feel like we all do, but do the right thing, guys. Max Waters, what's the worst feeling? Losing a clean sheet in the last minute or your finger going through the toilet paper after you've wiped? False. At the moment, it's probably through the toilet paper. Yeah, listen, fuck that. Everyone's done it, haven't they? It's nothing worse. You're somewhere foreign and you have a shit. You know, let's be honest. Everyone's got to go, right? There's nobody on here that doesn't poo. We can talk about it. It's all right. You've all had that moment. You've gone, one sheet of toilet paper. It's not going to work here, is it? And then the two still fell shut. Billy Hadaway says you can always wash your hands. Yeah, true. Do you like touching your own shit there? Robbie Keane has been substituted at the Reebok. That tweet's timed at 4:17 as far as I'm concerned. So I presume he's past the 60 mark. Excuse me. Despite their dominance, Leeds look to be happy with a point here, removing striker Keane for defensive midfielder Batty. Just the 2 points for Keane today. So just the 2 points confirmation that he did make it past the 60-minute mark, Robbie Keane. So any substitutions beyond here seems safe. Would suggest that all the highly owned players within the game have stayed on. It doesn't mean that your differential with 0.3% ownership, however, has made it. We will not know till the end. At the end, I will try and go through bookings, substitutions every game, so you've got it straight away. FPL Woody backs back in United to win 2-1 with a brace from sexy Luke Chadders, blank for Blanc, Veron, and Donkey Van Nistelrooy. I think you've asked for it there, mate. Have you got none of them, Woody back? None of them. Billy Hadaway's laugh. This is not really in referring to touching his own shit, but you can't get that clean sheet back. No, you can get rid of the memory though, can't you? FPL Dinosaur Viduka could go after this week. I never quite understand the loss of patience as such. FPL Willie Back's got all three of them United players I mentioned. I never quite understand the 2 blanks and we've got to get rid. Just make me feel like Maury's going to score next week. Leeds play Spurs, next, don't they? Game week 3 at Ellen Road. I'd rather get Viduka in, mate. Simon Dowling, there's probably a fair point of Viduka to Shearer's on the cards. But I think with Newcastle playing Chelsea, Leeds playing Spurs, I would definitely rather have Viduka. We have a goal at the Riverside, motherfuckers. And it's scored by budget forward, who many said would potentially perform well if he got minutes. It is Slad Nemeth. He is the goal scorer, and the assist has come from Colin Cooper, equaliser for Middlesbrough, 64 minutes in. Middlesbrough 2, Leicester City 2, Nemeth with the goal. Let us know, guys, if you've got Nemeth in the chat. I reckon there's probably a few that have. Max Waters can't wait for a Neville, Veron and Ruud Van Nistelrooy masterclass later. That'd be Phil Neville, I presume, there, Max, obviously. Andy G, the golf pro, Viduka's a season keeper. I don't know if anybody's necessarily a season keeper, but I think, some loyalty there. That's not your priority, to get rid of a guy who looks like he's absolutely nailed up front and he's having chances. So just some information on that. Nemeth equaliser. Lovely play from Dean Gordon, who swings in a ball for substitute Colin Cooper. What's he doing now? Cooper knocks it down for Nemeth, who rifles in a half volley. Nemeth looks really dangerous, is the added comment from the account. Pick up on these little things on the account. It's important. Matthew Milton. Stolzers over Mel Bronk was a mistake. Don't necessarily know that it was a mistake. A lot of people really highlighted Stolzers early doors. Wasn't a player that was on my radar because I didn't know anything about him personally, and I'm not dug deep enough to be looking at that. I knew Mel Bronk's quality. Anurag Gallus didn't come one yet. Might get lucky again. Melberg comes in for me. Game week 1, Repka in for Burnley. Oh, you're saying Gallus hasn't come on yet? Melberg comes in for him. I'm Kevin Nolan if Gallus doesn't come on, so can hardly care either way. We have a second goal at St Mary's. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank is the scorer, and it is now goal and assist for Gianfranco Zola. He has the assist for Hasselbank. 2-0 to Chelsea, 25 minutes to go. Goal for JFH, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, and assist for Zola. That will please some. I'll just let you all rage on in the chat now because I know you love that shit. That Zola seems very popular. He's about a third owned, isn't he, Zola? So, yeah. And it's the price as well, isn't it? 6.5, and you're going, yeah. So that's where, I'm looking at early going, Canute goal, Yule goal, Zola, million cheaper goal assists. So, and there's plenty you've got that. So very well done to you if you do. Plenty in there. Andy G, Brian Yule, clean sheet wipeout. Mark Dorney, Simon Dowling. Well done, guys. Information on that goal. Gianfranco, you little genius. Sensational skill from Zola, who waltzes through the defence before teeing up Hasselbank with a cheeky chip. Hasselbank makes no mistake and heads home. Superb from the Italian. Looks like he's put it on a plate for Hasselbank there. Who Ryan McCloyd, yep, there he is, old Hasselbank. Billy Hadaway saying John Collins could be a good shout for Fulham. I don't disagree with that. Thank you, Jeff. Much appreciated, mate. Billy Hadaway getting Zola. Manchester Reds captain Zola last game week and put Rude as vice. Did the opposite this game week. For fuck's sake, haha. Rude ain't played yet. He might go mental. Mind you, that fixture Blackburn tonight might not be as easy as everybody's thinking. We obviously expect United to win, but Leeds are behind at Bolton. The goal scorer is Michael Ricketts. 22 minutes to go at Bolton. That defensive change to bring on David Batty for Robbie Keane has not paid off for Leeds. Michael Ricketts, the goal scorer for Bolton. It's Bolton 2, Leeds United 1. 22 to go. Max Waters, Zola is a saucy player. Luke can scout highlights again. Another header. Talking about the Hasselbank goal. Brian Newell, did Hasselbank ever score a chip in his life? Thought he just smashed it. I can think of a few possibly actually, because he did used to smash it quite a few times. He used to kid people from range. Actually, I'm pretty sure he got a couple. Actually, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. I definitely think of one at the shed end. Maybe against Coventry. I've got something hazy in my head. On the Ricketts goal, Henrik Pedersen crosses. There's a theme here. For substitute Bo Hansen, who sees his header saved by Martin. The ball falls for Ricketts, who hammers home. Martin is furious at his defender's static response there. So it's another one that would have been an FPL assist for Bo Hansen, not Henrik Pedersen. Henrik Pedersen, excuse me. But another goal from a cross. Yeah. Speedy Reedy TV should have left Robbie Keane on. Should always leave Robbie on. Standard. FPL Woody back. If you could choose 3 members of the FPL community to be virtually watching the games, like Merson and co, then who would you have on your panel and why? I'd have Luke from Scout because he knows his onions about this game. I think he really, really does. So I'd definitely go for Luke, who's in the chat. It's D1 Sable. If you don't know who Luke is, give him a follow on Twitter. He said Luke is probably the most underfollowed person that I know. And don't be put off by the fact that he's associated with Scout. He's a good guy. Not that most of the guys at Scout aren't, but you know what I'm saying. He's not up his arse or anything. He's a good lad, our Luke. So definitely Luke. I would pick Tom from Who Got the Assist. He'd be good for that. And then you need someone for the banter, don't you? So I'll go Suj, actually. Get Suj in to watch the shit game. You know, the game that's 0-0 every week. Suj will be watching Villa Derby and putting his own spin on entertainment. So I'll go Luke, Tom and Suj. Those be my choices. I could obviously get the correspondence in depending on what fixture is. That's a different matter. Good question, that. Brian Newell, you can't sit back. Eventually they'll get in. FPL Badger, Ian Hart, worryingly quiet. Not heard him mentioned at all. Luke adding in on the chat about Hasselbank's goal not being a chip. No, I think he potentially got that, but was just saying, can't think of him scoring a chip. Leeds missing Danny Mills, it seems, says Speedy Reedy. I think Gary Kelly played the first game now, didn't he? Billy Hadaway, what's O'Leary thinking taking off Keane for Batty, for fuck's sake? Why is Alan Mabry playing right back? What's all that about? Sean Murphy, good shout on Luke. Gary Shepherd, surprised Phillips doesn't seem to be getting a sniff at goal. Kevin Phillips be very consistent in this game, so everybody seems to think, but price is big. Yeah, Feffield would he back Suj Cammy. Yeah, absolutely. Sean Murphy saying good panel. I think that's got a good mix, that, isn't it? Yeah. 01 J Jill. Ben Crellin got to be in there somewhere. We need Ben afterwards for the fixture assessment. I don't know about what Ben would be like assisting on the games and that. I'd go with my 3 guys over Ben. I'll be honest. We need Ben for. We don't want Ben watching games. We need Ben in the planner working out all the shit that can happen. Jeff Holt, can I apply to be your Chris Kamara then, James? You could not, Jeff. I've given the job to Suj. Excuse me. Correct time I make. Sorry, guys. 4:27 p.m. We should be expecting the Manchester United and Blackburn team news very shortly. But it's quite quiet, isn't it? Just to give a reminder of where we're at. Villa and Derby is 0-0. Leeds are 2-1 down at Bolton. Middlesbrough Leicester is 2-2. Chelsea lead 2-0 at Southampton. Fulham lead Sunderland by a goal. And Charlton lead 2-1. Ipswich lead Charlton 2-1, didn't they? Sorry. Jeff seems to think I was sure I would say I don't know, Jeff. Do I say that a lot? Also includes Ben and James could have an interactive board at the end to run through the fixtures. I think Ben might know better than me on this one. I know as well that Ben's got the game at the moment, so he's able to access things that I can't. So definitely do give at Ben Crellin 2 a follow. He won't follow you back. Don't be upset about that. It's just how it is. Manchester Reds. Steve-O from Elite FPL would be a good addition. Yeah, the Elite guys would be good, but they're great at their own thing anyway. He doesn't hold back on his thoughts, and he's a big fan of your show. I'm a big fan of theirs as well. I think the guys are great. We are close to quote at the Reebok. Game is still in the balance. Leeds have picked up the pace again following that Bolton goal, and they nearly equalise. The court finds Bowie on the edge of the box, and his strike thumps the bar. So Leeds pushing forward. All right, tell you what, guys, because there's quite a few shouting out, and I don't mind it as a shout. Yeah, well, Soccer Saturday has 4. So I tell you what, I'll take Steve-O as well. I take Steve-O, and he's got to have a direct link in his ear to Jason stuff. Sean Murphy, Steve is a madman. He's a different case, isn't he? I told you about that one I did where he took a picture of himself wearing one of the they've got some really cool t-shirts, and it was back to front. He'd obviously taken the selfie. That's like, I just flipped it. I sent it back to him. I was like, come on, man. And this is me, Technophobe James. I was like, what's wrong with you, mate? They're brilliant, the Elite guys. They've got my support. Right, there is big news coming in from Old Trafford. Luke Chadwick starts. Very importantly, I'll cover quickly Van Nistelrooy and Veron start as well. But Luke Chadwick is amongst the starters for Manchester United. It's a 4-4-2. They are Barthez, Phil Neville right back, Gary Neville plays centre half with Laurent Blanc, Mikel Silvestre at left back. Midfield 4. There is no Rick Keane in the team. And no Paul Scholes. Ryan Giggs on the left. David Beckham central with Veron. Veron still given the licence to push. Luke Chadwick on the right. Van Nistelrooy and Dwight York up front. The Blackburn team. And as Luke has suggested, big change in system. It is very much a 4-5-1. And he was absolutely spot on. One of the things I noticed he was saying about Craig Hignett potentially playing on the right. And he does. There is only one up front for Blackburn, and it is Grabby. Apologies. Marcus Bent is not in that team. Damien Duff does start. David Dunn is out. So the Blackburn team is Brad Friedel back 4, left to right. Lucas Neal, Craig Short 4 million stays in. Henningberg, Curtis at right back. 3 sitting, holding defensive midfielders. 2 guy, Jason McAteer. Gary Flitcroft is the one that's asked to advance. Damien Duff on the left. Craig Hignett asked to support Grabby, advanced from the right. Subs for United are Scholes, Irwin, Cole, Brown, Ricardo Lille, I believe, sub goalkeeper. Marcus Bent is amongst the Blackburn substitutes. So is Gordon Greer, Matt Janssen and Alaman, John Filan, the backup goalkeeper on the bench. Yes, I can see there. Manchester Red saying Damien Duff does start. So those are your lineups for Manchester United. Blackburn going very defensive, very much as Leicester did previously, and Ipswich at Arsenal, etc. I think it's the theme of changing formations from teams very dependent on what their opposition is, whether they're home or away. This is something to watch out for. I would recommend potentially keeping screenshots of teams and their formations and what they're playing. You're not going to see the benefit of this for a few good game weeks, but it might help you further down the line to understand what Blackburn are likely to do when they play away to Arsenal versus at home to West Ham, for example. I think that's something that I'm potentially going to be doing. And obviously, you can run through the tweets, but I'd probably recommend keeping screenshots, and then you can keep a little gallery for yourself of all your individual teams. We also have the Liverpool lineup for their second leg with Lille, and they won the first leg 2-0 away. Obviously, anything but a 2-goal defeat or more, and they'll be through to the Champions League group stages. Robbie Fowler is back in that Liverpool team. Jamie Carragher in at left back. So we'll just run through the Liverpool team. It's Dudek, back four, left to right of Carragher, Hyypiä, Babel, Vegard, Hegem. No place again for Stefan Henshaw. Nick Barmby, Smeetser, Redknapp, Danny Murphy in midfield. Robbie Fowler, Emil Heskey on the bench. Liverpool could name 5 substitutes. They are 7 substitutes, sorry. They are Chris Kirkland, Yari Littman, and John Welsh, Daniel Sodrud, Stephen Warnock, Bernard Diamard, Dietmar Hamann. We have some substitutions at the Riverside. A blow for Leicester. Gary Rowett, playing at 90% fit, is replaced by Trevor Benjamin. That sounds very brave. He has Leicester's injury woes after McAnuff also limped off earlier on his debut. For Borough, Egiog is off for Ocon. Doesn't say if that's an injury or not for Ugo Egiog, but it seems a strange one for him to be substituted. So Liverpool obviously in a strong position against Lille. Some rotation there. Henshaw missing out again is interesting. Now they're obviously going to play Bayern Munich in the Super Cup as well. So we shall see. But my instinct was that I'd probably be looking towards Henshaw, actually, as and when the time was right for Liverpool. But it could well be that just going Hyypiä is going to be a safer choice. Luke saying about the Blackburn team, got 10 out of 11 on formation correct. Happy with that. Luke did a brilliant little bit on Blackburn formation wise. And I think, Luke, I don't mean to put the pressure on you, but I reckon you're pretty bored at the moment. I think you should do it for the other teams as well. And probably just not share it, mate. Just keep it to yourself. I think he thought that Grabby would probably be left out. Brian Yule saying still no Gillespie. Looks like it will be 10 men unless O'Neill come on for a Derby cameo. I've also got Keith Gillespie. And again, not even a substitute is a concern. So that's one I'm going to have to look at very shortly. Sean Murphy relieved that Veron and Van Nistelrooy start. Don't think it was ever in doubt, mate, to be honest. Mark Darney, all 4 of my players start in the late game. Walter Recluse, Gerrard dropped for the Liverpool game. It's probably a rest, to be honest. Sean Murphy, Veron to do something. Speedy Reedy TV. What the fuck is that emoji? Sorry, Luke. Looks nicer as text than that shit. I missed that. 01 J Jill. No John R. Reese. Is that good news for holders? Not a clue, mate. Not a clue. He played Vignal at left back in the league game. He's played Carragher there. He played Reese at left midfield in the league game at the weekend. He's now playing Nick Barmby now. Guessing, mate. Literally guessing. Mark Dorney has no Gerrard. Manchester Reds, not sure. I want Reese in many, but says he's a rotation risk, and I think he is. I think that's why John Arne Reese was priced at 5.5 rather than 6 million, because I think it's a big danger. Simon Dowling with an important question. Liverpool qualify for Champions League. Does that mean they won't have a double game week in 5? Correct. If Liverpool get through the tie, which looks about 95% likely, they will not double in game weeks 5 or game week 6. This is what I've said regularly, and I said regularly on Wednesday, is that a lot of people who are planning this wild card in game week 4, I think will get there and potentially have a change of heart if that Liverpool double game week doesn't happen. And they're 2-0 up. They won away 2-0 in the first leg, so you've got to fancy them strongly. They've afforded to rest Gerrard and shit, but Fowler's back in the team. It should be absolutely fine. So expect Liverpool to progress to the group stage. And yes, those doubles in game weeks 5 and 6 will need to be rearranged in that case. They will obviously go back later. And we'll all look at Ben Crellin too to try and find out when that will be. I would suggest probably not before roundabouts game week 9, 10, very earliest. Some substitutions and a very quiet game at Villa Park. The account saying Villa have been on top this game, but it's not been great. Ginola and Hadji are now on for Taylor and Merson as they push for a winner. Earlier, Dion Dublin came on for Bosco Balaban, 65 minutes, with O'Neill on for Elliott for Derby after 66. So those with O'Neill 4.0, Derby are potentially looking at a 1-pointer there. Billy Hadaway, under what circumstances will upcoming Liverpool doubles get cancelled? That's pretty much what I've just covered. Billy, if they make Champions League, they'll be off. They're almost definitely going to be off. Max Waters, can we please take a minute to appreciate these streams? Doing a great job. Thanks, Max. Speedy Reedy TV. Get outside and fucking clap, yeah? Just kidding. Speedy Reedy TV. Will we potentially see treble game weeks with this fixture madness? No. Incredibly unlikely. And I would suggest if you get a double game week with 6 teams with a double, that's bench boost time. That's as good as it's going to look. 6 teams with a double. So know it, wildcard it, bench boost it. And that's another reason why I don't intend to wildcard early. The biggest double game week, and it depends on the Sims and Europe and Cup competitions and all sorts. Like there are clashes between League Cup and Europe, right? Which is going to mean League Cup games going into different times, and it's all fucked, man. God knows how they survived on this schedule back then. I can't remember it being that bad. But in any case, there are a number of things that will fuck it. I asked a few people to look at some simulations. People couldn't find one where there was more than 3 games that doubled. So essentially a maximum of 6 teams. And the biggest were in a week in December before Christmas. And there was another potential occurrence in February. It's not even at the end. Quarterfinals, 5th round of Cup have their own weekends. There's no Premier League to clash. The semi-final does clash. League Cup final does clash, but that's going to create, respectively, 1 blank. The FA Cup semi-finals are going to create at the most 4. And then those rearranged fixtures will get spread. They won't all go into 37, for example, because the FA Cup final also clashes, creating a couple more blanks. So, highly likely, biggest double is likely to be at some point in December or in February, and you're not likely to have more than 6 teams doubling. If it's a good 4 teams that have got a double game week, I wouldn't be against even getting hold of a bench boost for that. I think the most you'll get to is 8, and the most that I've seen from Sims has been 6. If someone can look at their Sims and tell me differently, where there have been occasions where sort of 8 teams have had a double, then by all means let me know. You know me in terms of chip strategy. I like to be planned. I haven't got any strategy on it. None. Very open-minded about it. It's all very quiet, isn't it? Only a couple of minutes to go. Not happening late on. Champ Man account just tweet something like Hale James or something. We'll have a look back through the chat therefore, because I started ranting now, as I so often do. Cole Norbury needs Gallus to stay on the bench for Melchot to also sub. Blimey. Benny Blanco limping over the line this week, running 9 players and not a single return so far. Still loving having football back. Kinda. Yeah, it's always good. Speedy really few and a 0 point. Richard Skeen, afternoon all. Anyone got any points? Yeah, I got a few. Anyone with Zola's happy. Boa Morte has scored for Fulham at Craven Cottage. That is 2-0 to Fulham. Goal Boa Morte, an assist from Legwinski. 2-0 to Fulham. 3 minutes to go at the Cottage. Still potentially with clean sheet intact. If you've got anything Fulham defensive there as well. Luis Boa Morte, goal and assist. OOP, 8.5 million expensive, but perhaps worth it. Assist from Legwinski, who also returned at Blackburn, I'm sure, as well. So it's not just, that's all three of them, I think, have returned both games. So not just Malbron. Okay. Simon Dowling's so annoyed at Alpine. People seemed annoyed at Alpine. Not Alpine. People going to Melbourne. I noticed there's a lot of people like Alpine is every bit as good. And he may prove to be so, but obviously he wasn't in the squad there. Legwinski plays a lovely ball to Boa Morte. He has a lot to do, but makes himself some space before finishing with his right foot. He's played very well and claimed a goal and assist too. Sounds like he's in for top bonus there, Boa Morte as well. Goal, assist, and I think a man of the match by the sounds of that tweet. Clive Fisher, got to say, really enjoyed this. The world's even a line where my kids have been quiet so I could watch all of it. Good. Enjoy yourself, Clive. That's what it's all about, mate. Manchester Reds, you staying for the BPS announcement? Yes, I will. I will stay for the teams to talk you through that, the player ratings, etc. And I'll detail the yellows, the subs, everything that I've got, I'll detail. Speedy Reedy TV, yeah, my newborn's sleeping through these streams. Lucky, because they're giving me a lot of info. Good. We have a late goal for Bolton and another assist for Ricardo Gardner. Goal scorer is Bo Hansen, who you might remember had the shot saved for the second. So that's a win for Bolton, surely, with a minute to go against Leeds. Goal for Bo Hansen, another assist for Ricardo Gardner. I'm sure he assisted earlier, unless I just made shit up in my mind. And there's your answer. Clean sheet wipeout to the 5 minutes to go late drama. FPL Dinosaur. When does the transfer window shut? I.e. what? Game week? Doesn't, mate. It's March. There is no transfer window. Transfers for teams is open till March. So Arsenal can spend that 36 million Vieira money whenever they want. FPL Blade saying, what a shit show of a week. That's what you get for coming on this stream and talking about your Leeds ownership of Viduka last week, mate. Love you, really. Max Waters down. I'm too old for that shit, mate. I'd rather enjoy it. Information on that. Bolton goal. Is that Ricardo Gardner or Roberto Carlos out there? He nutmegs Lee Bowyer before crossing for Bo Hansen, who seals the win for Bolton. Hansen has made a real difference since replacing Dean Holsworth. A bad day for Leeds. Also recluse. My kids have been screaming the whole time. It's no real surprise, as Dominic's kind of mentioned there with the Leeds red card that they've got beat. Eric Backer owes the community an apology. And of course, again, Paul's saying about a non-red for Gardner. He could have gone. Double Gardner assist. There's no clean sheet though, mate. I'm good at dropping shit, aren't I? Auto recluse. My Gardner differential coming good. See, I've had no returns this half. None. Bullshit. FPL Blade needs Ginola return the last minute. I needed him to return the second he lost Spurs, mate. So keep waiting. Auto recluse, no clean sheet. Yeah, Simon Dowling. Gardner doesn't have a clean sheet. Oh yeah, that's right. Cheers. Getting told there, Dano. Alexander Dalziel, Staunton and Schmeichel, no. Oh, he says some news from Villa Park. I don't know if you've got something before I have. I've not had anything. Checks account. I have no news on Villa Park. I'm just worrying everybody. Maybe he's saying it because he ain't got either. Possibly the more likely scenario there. Fake news. I'm not sure if he was trying to troll, in fairness, guys. I think he maybe doesn't have either and was like, shit. That give you a few heart attacks at the end. I didn't do that on purpose either. I just saw it and was like, oh, have I missed something? There's nothing on Villa, so I think you're good. And he's probably more saying it he doesn't own either, in fairness. So apologies if I worried anybody there. God, get your knickers in a twist. Fucking game, guys. Joe Vinny had a heart attack. Why? Brad Lewington shat his pants. It's true. And Joe says maybe they're on his bench. Imagine. Oh, how blinding. I wouldn't know, Brad. Don't block him. Listen. I don't think he's trolling there. I don't know the guy, but I don't. Alex, let us know if you're trolling. If you're trolling, you're a prick. But yeah, whatever. And there's a goal. No, there's not. Full times, guys. That's it. We're done. So Villa clean sheet is in your bank. Sean Murphy says he checked three different devices with forensic. I love that the guy is Alex. He's not even posted anything in the chat to say sorry, guys, or nothing. He's just left it. I reckon what Joe said's right. I reckon he's got both on the bench. Sean, what was the point of checking 3 different devices, mate? What's going to be wrong with the one you had? Leave poor Alex alone. It's just banter, guys. Don't worry about it. It's fun. It's probably my fault for reading it out as well. Fuck you know. I reckon he had him as sub. That's my general opinion. Right. So full times in any case. So Villa Derby 0-0, clean sheets for both. There's a lot there. Obviously have Staunton, Schmeichel, etc. FPL Chances is playing Schmeichel and Isdom game week 3. Screw these attackers. Sean says he can't trust technology. He's 5G's killing everyone, and we all know that. Some people probably believe that. I should probably not elaborate on that any further. So what do we have? Ipswich Charlton. Was that 2-1 Ipswich? I can't remember now. They should post the full time. Bolton beat Leeds 3-1. We know. Fulham have beat Sunderland 2-0. Middlesbrough Leicester was 2-2. Chelsea won 2-0 at Southampton. I can't remember the Ipswich score. Was it 2-1 Ipswich? I think so. 2-1 Ipswich. Yeah. Dina, I'm glad you like the band. So if anybody wants to piss off and have a look at the stuff on Twitter in your own time, by all means, but I'll hang around for those. And they are coming in now. So full time from Aston Villa 0-0. Yawn Villa on top without being great. Top bonus goes to Gareth Barry. 2 points for Mark Poom. 1 point for 5 players. Peter Schmeichel, Alan Wright, Olaf Melberg, and Pablo Angel and Carbonari from Derby. There is an additional 1 save point for Schmeichel. Additional 2 save points for Poom. There were no substitutions pre the hour. Ginola, Hadji, Dublin for Villa, Blatsis and Brian O'Neill made appearances for Derby County. None of those substitutions before the hour. Nobody was booked in that fixture. So that gives you your analysis of the Villa game. Bolton 3 Leeds 1, surprise result of the day. I think we agree. Correct result for Bolton, back at the villain. Top bonus does not go to Gardner. It goes to Henrik Pedersen, 3 points, 2 points for Gardner. There's also a 1 for Jaskalainen, Paul Warhurst, Bo Hansen, Alan Mabry, and Ian Hart has got a 1-pointer as well. Obviously, Bakker was booked twice for a red card. There were also bookings for Neil Maddison, and Gardner was also booked. Bolton made 1 change before the hour, which was Bo Hansen for Dean Holdsworth. Obviously, Batty for Robbie Keane was after the hour, and Per Franson for Nicky Saville was also after the hour. So 3 for Pedersen, 2 for Gardner, who was also booked, 1 for Jaskalainen and Warhurst, Bo Hansen, Mabry, and Ian Hart. From Fulham, disappointing result from Sunderland, who are now bottom of the league. Fulham will be delighted. Top bonus goes to Boa Morte, and there are 2 points for 2 players only. Alan Gomar and Steed Malbronk. There were as an additional save point for Thomas Sorensen as well. I don't think there was any additional save points in the Leeds game. Not according to their tweet. No. There was 1 booking in the Fulham game, and that was for Kevin Betsy. No substitutions made before the hour. There were substitute appearances for Andy Melville of Fulham, David Bellion, and Niall Quinn for Sunderland. That looks like as they tried to chase the game. They would both come on after 63 minutes. This Landis was withdrawn. They're both forwards. I guess Bellion played in a wide position. The only change for Fulham was Melville for Awadu. Moving on to Ipswich. Top bonus for Maurizio Tarico. I've seen in a few teams. Interesting. 2 points for Herman Haridason. There is 1 point for Gardso, Miller, Stewart, and Pablo. So only bonuses there for the Ipswich guys. There is an additional save point for Matteo Sereni and Dean Kiley. There were 2 bookings in the game. They were for Ipswich captain Matt Holland. Luke Young was also booked. Interestingly, I noticed there Luke Young got a 5. Chris Powell got a 4 out of 10 rating. Could be very good news for those who might still have Paul Konchesky in their squad. He might even come back in. There was 1 substitution before the hour, which was Emil Carrick for John McGrill for Ipswich after 58. Eddie Yards for Charlton. Gary Croft for Ipswich also made substitute appearances. Moving on to Middlesbrough Leicester, 2-2. Borough really unlucky not to come away with the 3 points. Top bonus goes to Nemeth. 2 points for Gareth Southgate. 1 point for Johnston, Greening, Whelan, Cooper, Scowcroft, Delaney. There's an additional save point for Tim Flowers as well. 1 booking in the game, which was for substitute Colin Cooper. He came on after 53 minutes to replace Curtis Fleming. Paul Ocon also made a substitute appearance for Middlesbrough. As we mentioned earlier, McAnuff and Rowett both injured for Ipswich. So there were 2 point substitute appearances for Matt Heath and Arne Gunnlaugson. There was also a 1 point substitute appearance for Trevor Benjamin. This is fun, isn't it? I just noticed a comment from Manchester Reds. I know, Dominic. James is reading them out, for fuck's sake. And finally, from St Mary's, top bonus to Zola. I think we could have guessed that. 2 for Melchior. Well done for the Melchior and Zola owners there. There is 1 bonus point also for Lundikvam, Kudachini, Babayaro, Ferrer, John Terry, Desai, and Hasselbank. There is 1 save point bonus for Kudachini. There is 2 for Southampton's Paul Jones. I don't have the detail on that fixture in terms of bookings and substitutions. That's not come out with the tweet. FPL Dinosaur says, right, wrap it up, James. It's the Virtual Grand National on ITV. Okay, cool. On that note, I will. Thank you very much for joining, guys. Thanks for the interaction in the chat and enjoying. Like, share, all that shit. Make sure you get on Andy, Dave, and James's stream on the Fantasy Champ Man official YouTube account tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. I'll be back on Monday with Serge. We will do a feature on game week 2 and where we're at. Serge got 50 points in game week 1. Be interested to see how we did today. Other than that, guys, be safe, be nice to each other. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care. Bye for now.